Dear friends, today we are starting with one very important technique of your syllabus termed as marginal costing. Today is a session on concepts. Lots of concepts you will understand on marginal costing. So the topic that we are starting today is marginal costing. Now, where did the term marginal costing emerge from? It emerges from a concept that you have done at CA foundation level in economics, which was marginal cost. There was a chapter theory of cost. In that you were told total cost, average cost, marginal cost. What was the meaning of marginal cost? Marginal cost was additional cost incurred to produce an additional unit of output. The extra cost that you are putting in order to create an extra unit of output is termed as marginal cost. Now, marginal costing is a technique which analyzes that additional cost for the purpose of our decision making. It's a very important technique for decision making purpose. Lots of basic concepts there which we'll be understanding today. So I start with the first concept there. The first concept you're writing with me is meaning of marginal cost. So first point you can write along with me is meaning of marginal cost. Meaning of marginal cost. It comes from, as I say, your economics. Whatever you studied in economics, same meaning you are going to write here also. So what is the meaning? Marginal cost refers to the change in total cost as a result of changes in level of activity. Means whatever additional cost you incur for additional units of output, that additional cost is termed as marginal cost. In other words, marginal cost is additional cost for producing extra output. It is additional cost for producing extra output. Now, if you want to calculate marginal cost per unit, there is a formula for that. That is change in total cost divided by change in units. So formula there, one formula which you can note. Marginal cost per unit equal delta. What is delta? Change. Delta TC, that is total cost, divided by delta units. Change in total cost divided by change in units. That gives you marginal cost per unit. This was an economics concept which is applicable. Number 2, second concept for the day. Second concept is meaning of marginal costing. This is definition for marginal costing. It refers to the technique of costing, which uses nature-wise cost classification, for the purpose of managerial decision making. Now certainly this technique of marginal costing is highly useful for managerial decision making. What was nature-wise cost classification? It is the same classification we used in flexible budgets. It is classifying the cost as fixed, variable, semi-variable. Semi-variable is further classified into fixed element and variable element. And then we focus much more on variable cost for our decision making. That is why sometimes marginal costing is also known as variable costing. The cost that normally changes is variable cost. Variable cost per unit is constant. In totality, it keeps on changing with level of activity. The fixed cost remains constant normally. So fixed cost does not change as a result of increase in output or does not reduce as a result of decrease in output. So you can write further. Accordingly, under marginal costing, the cost is classified as fixed, variable, and semi-variable, which is also called semi-fixed. In this semi-variable cost, we further segregate into fixed element and variable element. Normally, we focus on these variable elements for the purpose of marginal costing. In marginal costing, we are focusing on the cost that changes, which normally is variable cost. Third point here. Point number 3. Assumptions of marginal costing. Very simple two assumptions are there in marginal costing. What are the two assumptions? Fixed cost in totality will not change as a result of change in output. Variable cost per unit will not change as a result of change in output. Variable cost per unit and fixed cost total will remain constant. They are the two broad assumptions of marginal costing. So A assumption fixed cost total remains unchanged irrespective of changes in level of activity. And B assumption, variable cost changes in same proportion as the level of activity. If level of activity or production is doubled, variable cost doubles. Level of activity increases by 70%, variable cost increases by 70%. Level of activity or production declines by 50%, variable cost declines by 50%. So in same proportion, variable cost will change as the level of activity. In other words, variable cost per unit remains unchanged. They are two basic assumptions of marginal costing. Now, fourth point I am telling you is income statement under marginal costing. This is what you have done under flexible budgets also. It is basic concept from marginal costing that you have done in other chapter. So, point number 4, income statement under marginal costing. There will be multiple products within a company. So we start with multiple products and their sales revenue. Let us say there are 3 products A, B, C. We can make a total column also. Sales revenue. How we compute it? Sale units multiplied by selling price per unit. That is sales revenue. Less variable cost of sales quantity. This is very important. For each product, VC per unit, variable cost per unit, multiplied by sales units. There are thoughts in mind, let us put on production units, that is wrong. We have to put on variable cost of sale quantity, not of production quantity. Once you reduce, you get contribution. Product wise, total also. Now statement will not continue product wise here. From total contribution, we continue further. Less total fixed cost. What I get? Profits of the company as a whole. This type of income statement we prepare frequently in many questions. So whenever profit is to be computed, we make in this manner: sale less variable cost of sale, we get contribution. If there are multiple products, we add their contribution, we get total contribution. Total contribution minus fixed cost will give me profit of the company as a whole. These are some basic theoretical background concepts. Now comes basic terminologies and more concepts. Number 5. Basic terminologies and concepts. A concept of contribution. The word contribution came here also. I told you in flexible budgets also. The term contribution relates to marginal costing. You will understand meaning of that here. In next terminologies 4, 5, 6, whatever concepts are there, I'll be telling you their meaning. I'll be telling you formulas associated with them which will be used in questions later on. So formulas and concepts, that is a day meant for. Very, very important day for all marginal costing concepts. So first concept I am having is concept of contribution. You have seen what is contribution, sale minus variable cost. Now it is called contribution. Try to understand why it is called contribution. If I am a businessman, I am selling a product at 100 rupees and my supplier is providing me at 70 rupees with no other variable cost, I am having gross margin of 30 rupees in that. This gross margin is termed as contribution. Why? Out of this 30 rupees per unit, whatever units I sell, I will first bear my fixed cost and balance will be my profit. It is simple. Out of 100, directly 70 is my cost because I have to pay to my supplier. Now 30 rupees will contribute first towards the fixed cost, and once the fixed cost has been recovered, it will start contributing towards the profit. It is contribution because it first contributes towards the recovery of fixed cost. Whether I sell a single unit or 0 unit, fixed cost is to be borne by me. Nobody is going to give fixed cost. I am going to bear it. By selling all the units, I will first bear rent of my factory, my supervisor's salary, all other fixed costs I will be bearing, and once it has been recovered, I will start earning profits. So this margin, selling price minus variable cost, it first contributes towards the recovery of fixed cost, and once fixed cost has been recovered, it starts contributing towards profits of the entity. That is why it is called contribution. Now simple thing, the meaning of this contribution, very simple meaning is there. Contribution represents excess of sales revenue over and above the variable cost. In other words, it represents the profits before charging the fixed cost. Before charging the fixed cost. It is profit type of thing, but without charging fixed cost. Fixed cost will be charged later on. Sale minus variable cost is my contribution. Now comes what? Formulas related to contribution. In each concept, I'll be telling you formulas related to that concept. Now, first formula you've already seen. Contribution equal sales minus variable cost. Now, contribution is also equal to fixed cost plus profits. Now, how does this come? Try to understand how does I get the second formula. It is simple. Sale minus cost is profit. I can say sale minus variable cost minus fixed cost is equal to profit. I can say sale minus variable cost is equal to fixed cost plus profit. This is equal to contribution. That is what formula 1 and 2 are all about. Sale minus variable cost and also equal to fixed cost plus profit. This is formula number 1, formula number 2. Formula number 3, it is contribution per unit. There are various formula for this. Very easy. Contribution divided by sale units. Very simple. Another is selling price per unit minus variable cost per unit. Per unit selling price minus per unit variable cost. That is also formula. Another formula, delta means change. Change in contribution divided by change in sale units. Some question does not give you original contribution, original sale or new contribution, new sale. It says during current year contribution increases by 10,000 and sales increase by 1 lakh units. So contribution per unit, how do I compute? Change in contribution by change in sale unit, 10 paisa per unit. Another formula that may surprise some students, change in profit divided by change in sale units. What I have done, I have substituted term contribution with profit. If you check these, this and this, there's a change. Denominator is same. Do I want to say contribution and profit are same? No. I'm only saying change in contribution is equal to change in profit. Just note this. How did I get this? Change in contribution minus change in fixed cost is change in profit. Normally this is 0. As per assumption number 1. Change in fixed cost is 0. So change in contribution equal change in profit, hence this above formula. Never say contribution equal profit. Change in contribution equal change in profit, yes. Change in fixed cost is 0. But there is some fixed cost for sure. So contribution minus fixed cost is profit. Because change in fixed cost is 0, hence change in contribution equal change in profit. These are all the concepts which were related to contribution. Next concept here is profit volume ratio. Now what is profit volume ratio? Profit volume ratio is a profitability ratio. It is a relative concept. It has similarities with as we calculate gross profit ratio in financial accounting. It is relative contribution relative to sales. So I'm writing this B concept. Profit volume ratio. There are many names given to this. You may note all the names. One is clearly PV ratio. Very simple. It is a short form of this. It is also called contribution ratio. Contribution ratio. It is relative contribution as I have told you. So contribution ratio. Another name given to this, marginal income ratio. It is a profit of marginal costing, hence it is called marginal income ratio. It is income under marginal costing, so it is called marginal income ratio. Another name given there, variable profits ratio. Variable profits ratio. It is profits but of variable nature. That's why variable profits ratio. It is called CS ratio. What is CS? C for contribution and S for sales. This is what explains the first formula also. So you can write there. It represents profitability under marginal costing. Profitability under marginal costing. It is relative profit that we are explaining, which is profitability under marginal costing. Formulas related to PV ratio. Formulas related to PV ratio. Number one, very simple, contribution divided by sales into 100. Now why I am doing into 100? Because I want to have percentage. This is represented in percentage. That's why multiplied by 100. Number two, very simple. Contribution per unit divided by selling price per unit into 100. It is nothing. First formula has been divided in numerator as well as denominator with units. Contribution per unit divided by selling price per unit into 100. Number three, change formula. change in contribution divided by change in sales revenue into 100. If absolute figures are not known, change is known. Increase in contribution was 10,000, increase in sale was 10 lakh rupees. I can divide and get the PV ratio from there. Number 4, change in profits divided by change in sales revenue into 100. I told you earlier also, change in contribution is always equal to change in profit. Hence, we can substitute change in contribution with change in profit. Change in profit by change in sales revenue into 100 gives you same PV ratio. Under all 4 formulas, the PV ratio is going to be exactly same. These were concepts related to profit volume ratio. Now, I am getting on to next C point. Concept of break even point. Now, many times I ask this in my class, what is break even point? Students tell me very simply, where there is no profit, no loss, where there is total revenue equal total cost. They're all conditions, right? They're not proper definition. What is the definition of break-even point? Break-even point is that level of activity at which there is no profit, no loss. It is a particular sales level, particular level of activity at which these things are going to happen. So, definition is what I am starting with here. Break-even point refers to that level of activity bracket represented by sales in units or an amount at which total revenue equals total cost, or where the entity neither earns any profit nor suffers any loss. This is the appropriate definition of break-even point concept. So, what are the indicators of break-even point? One of the 3 indicators you can find in any situation. Total revenue equal total cost, no profit, no loss, or third one is contribution equals fixed cost. Meaning of all 3 indicators is same. When total revenue will be equal to total cost, there will be no profit, no loss. And at that level, contribution shall be equal to fixed cost. So, all 3 indicators will be at same level. Formulas. Formulas for break-even point. There are two formulas. One formula is for units, one formula for rupees. Break-even point in units equals fixed cost divided by contribution per unit. Break-even point in rupees or amount, fixed cost divided by PV ratio. Now be careful, if PV ratio is 35%, you are not going to divide by 35. You are going to divide by 0.35 or 35 and then press percentage in your calculator. So make it sure, if you put 35, it will be wrong. Put 0.3. In proportion, if you put, that will be correct. So these are two formulas related to break-even point. Concept number D. Concept of margin of safety. What is understood by safety? Safety is being away from loss. When you start avoiding loss at break-even point, so whatever your actual sale is there over and above the break-even point, that is representing margin of safety. So it's a very, very simple concept. You'll have few formulas here, 3 categories of formulas here to remember. That will be very, very important concept for lots of questions to follow later on. You can write the meaning here. Margin of safety represents the excess of actual sales over and above the break-even sales. In other words, it represents the distance from the loss area. Distance from the loss area. Formulas for MOS. There are 3 categories of formulas. MOS in units, rupees and percentage. And in each category there are 2 formulas. So try to understand and learn these formulas. MOS in units. What is this? First formula very easy. Actual sale units minus break-even sale units. Second formula for the same. Second formula is profit divided by contribution per unit. Now, how did I get the second formula? The second formula has been derived from the first formula. The first formula is actual sale units. The derivation nobody is going to ask. It is only for your comfort level. Only for your deep understanding of the subject I am giving this. If you want to ignore, you can ignore the derivation. Actual sale in units minus break-even sale, the formula we are going to use. Fixed cost divided by contribution per unit. If I take LCM, contribution per unit, it is actual sale units multiplied by contribution per unit. Only those who are interested in maths can concentrate on derivation, others can ignore for sure. Minus fixed cost. What is numerator now? MOS in units I am computing. Actual sale units multiplied by contribution per unit, that becomes total contribution. Minus fixed cost divide by contribution per unit. Contribution minus fixed cost is what? Profit. So it becomes profit divided by contribution per unit. That is the second formula you have seen. This is MOS in units. Second category of formulas, MOS in rupees. MOS in rupees. Again, two formulas here. Number one, actual sales in rupees minus break-even sales in rupees. And second, profit divided by PV ratio. Derivation is quite similar. I am not doing derivation here. You can remember the formula as such. Profit divided by PV ratio. Third category of formulas, MOS in percentage. It can be either based on MOS in units or MOS in rupees. First formula, MOS in units divide by actual sale units into 100, or MOS in rupees, this will be used more, divide by actual sales in rupees into 100. In percentage terms, I am telling you how much the firm is at risk. This is margin of safety in units, rupees and percentage. They are the 6 formulas for MOS, margin of safety. So I have done A, B, C, D, E point. Few concepts remaining, that is what I am trying to complete. Sales to earn desired fixed profits. I call it DFP. Desired fixed profit. Now it can be handled algebraically by assuming such sale units or sale amount to be X. We can use the basic equation, sale minus variable cost minus fixed cost equal profit. That is one way of doing. Here I am telling you formulas. So formulas for these. Two formulas. Sales to earn DFP, sale in units. to earn DFP, desired fixed profit, equal fixed cost plus desired fixed profit whole divided by contribution per unit. Same formula as break even, just add desired fixed profit in numerator. That is what we are doing. Number 2, sale in rupees to earn DFP. If in rupees we have to compute, then what? Fixed cost plus DFP divided by PV ratio. Same formula of break even, only change in numerator we have added a desired fixed profit along with the fixed cost. F point, last point for the day. Analysis of marginal costing variables for managerial decision making. Some analysis for each variable. You have studied many variables: contribution, PV ratio, break-even point, margin of safety. Now, which one should be high, which one should be low? You should be knowing it. So, simple recommendations: contribution per unit, PV ratio, break-even point, margin of safety. Now, contribution per unit should be high, as high as possible. PV ratio high, as high as possible. I like to have more absolute profits. I like to have more relative profits. Break-even point as low as possible. Very important. It is a point after which I will start earning profit. Lower it is, earlier I will start earning profit. So break-even point in units, in rupees, whatever it is, it should be as low as possible. MOS high. I like to have less risk. There is less risk if my actual sale is far ahead of the break-even point. So it is a margin that I want to keep over and above my break-even sale. I like to have more and more margin so that I feel very safe and very less risk of going into losses. Distance from losses should be much more that I can have. So only thing which should be low is break-even point. All other things should be as high as possible.